Hey, how's it going? Mike DelPrete, Executive Director of the Arizona Real Estate Investors Association. Um, Welcome to from Success Principles to Properties, based on Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles. This book was written years ago by Jack Canfield. You may have heard of him from Chicken Soup for the Soul. So he wrote this wonderful book called The Success Principles. I highly recommend getting it. You can get it at any used bookstore online. There's PDFs floating around, but support the book. What's great about this book, it has 64 principles that will change your life. So when I was in a position of not knowing what to do with myself, not knowing how to level up, not knowing just how to be an entrepreneur or have a different way of thinking, because I knew the people I was around and the way I was thinking didn't wasn't getting me to where I want to go. Right, and it's very easy to get comfortable there and stick around there. However, I knew I wanted something more and something a little different. So I got my hands on this book, and those 64 principles, I read them again, and then I participated and I implemented them. I did what he said in the book. It's great because he goes over multiple case studies, real life examples, gives you little action items you can test. Yeah, I got it. What's up?
You think I should turn on the air? It's scheduled for 45 people.
Yeah, do whatever you think. Give it a little cooler, and make sure you
Yeah,
gotta hit the switch up there.
okay.
It turns to cool. So I'm here at the office. We got an event going on uh, in the next room over. So I will be getting up interrupted every once in a while. So as always, though, like I said, the 64 principles changed my life, changed the way I think, changed the way I look at things, my perspective, my outlook. Um, See that switch above?
Oh,
Heat, cool. Yep. Um, So, gotta do what we gotta do. So, back at it. So, like always, I always just make sure we're live on YouTube, make sure everything's working. So, if you have questions, comments, anything, drop them in the box. I will answer your questions live. And first and foremost, I'm a real estate investor. As you know, like I said, I mentioned the Arizona Real Estate Investors Association. So, any questions that you have about real estate investing, we'll segue into them. And my goal is to give you um, real life, my own personal experiences that I've dealt with in real estate investing, and show you how these principles applied and helped my business as an entrepreneur and real estate investor. So um, that's my goal. Looks like everything's working. So let's jump in. Um, so this is episode 25. So there's 24 previous episodes you can go back and listen to. They're only about 20, 30 minutes max. I read verbatim from the book, um, and then just, kind of spin off that and see where it takes us. So, right now, we're talking about acknowledge your positive past. Acknowledge your positive past. So, I look back on life like a good day's work. It's done, and I'm satisfied with it. So he has great quotes in here that I like to review too. So I'll read all those. So um, most people in our culture remember their failures more than their successes. It's a result of the leave them alone approach to parenting, teaching, and management that is so prevalent in our culture. When you were a young child, your parents left you alone when you were playing and being cooperative, and then zapped you when you made a noise, a nuance, or got into some trouble. You probably received, hey, you did a good job if you got an A, but a huge lecture if you got a C or a D. God forbid you got an F in school. Um, so in sports, you get yelled at when you drop the football, you drop the baseball. There's always more emotional intensity around your errors, mistakes, failures than there was around your successes. Can you relate to that? I can relate to that, right? So, and I also think, like, if I still deal with this. It's like it's easier to think of something bad happening to you, like a car accident, or you can vividly think about like some negative scenario, some fake scenario that you're making up in your head that's never going to even happen, versus, you know thinking of these great scenarios of yourself succeeding, doing well, right? So um, and I think what he's saying is that's because growing up, you did one thing wrong, you're in trouble, right? So because the brain more easily remembers events that were accompanied by strong emotions, most people underestimate and underappreciate the number of successes they've had in relation to the number of failures they had. One of the ways to counteract this phenomenon is to focus on and celebrate your successes. One of the exercises I do in my corporate seminars is to have the participants each share a success they have had in the past week. It is always amazing to see how difficult this is for so many people. Many people don't think they have had as many successes. They can easily tell you 10 ways they messed up in the last 7 days, but it's much harder to tell you the 10 victories they had. The sad truth is that we all have many more victories than failures. It's just we set the bar too high for what we call success. A participant in the goals gaining opportunities of life skills program he developed to help people get off welfare actually asserted that he didn't have any success. When I inquired about his accent, he told me that he had left Iran in 1979. He had moved to his whole family to Germany, where he had learned German and became a car mechanic, and immigrated his whole family to the States and learned English, and was now in the program to become a welder. That's a lot of successes. People, so that person that just migrated, across the world and learned different languages and different skill sets, they don't even acknowledge that as success. I think we get caught up in maybe you got to have Rolexes, Lamborghinis, high rises, whatever it is, all good stuff, nothing wrong with it. Just on your way there, it can be an uphill battle, it may feel, because you don't have what you see on the internet or whatever it may be. So that's one thing I've learned from this book and going forward is celebrating the small wins, right? Even if you have 3 goals today that lead towards one of your bigger goals and you get them done, thank you, pat yourself on the back, celebrate a little bit, take a break, whatever it is that you enjoy. Um, and I think we lose sight of that. So, and I think that also comes along with affirmations, right? Just like positive, just it's like a whole new muscle you're building. So, whether you agree with affirmations or like to do them or not, same thing praying, right? Like whatever it is, if you're just constantly saying, "I am a success. I am fully capable of achieving what X," right? Like, I'm a master persuader on and off the platform. Everything I do uh, turns to gold. What else is there? Money's flowing to me from expected and unexpected sources, right? All these different things uh, that you say, you're building those new neurons, those new muscles in your brain. So it's work. I would have to literally listen to new radio stations, new podcasts, new CDs, whatever I had in my car, hang out with new people, read different books. Like it's not just celebrating the win, but I think what he's trying to get across here is acknowledging our wins. So what are some things, if you're watching or you're in the comments, whatever it is, what are some things that you can drop here in the comments, right? What's something that you're winning on right now? Like, what are you? Like you said, it took people. It's pretty hard for some people to kind of even figure out or admit to their successes. Um, so why am I making such a big deal about acknowledging past success? The reason is it's important because it impacts your self-esteem. Imagine for a moment your self-esteem is like a stack of poker chips. Then imagine that that you're playing a game of poker and you only have 10 chips and I have 200 chips. Who do you think is going to play more conservatively in the game of poker? Yes, you are. If you lose 2 bets of 5 chips, you're out. I can lose 5 chips 40 times before I'm out of the game. So I'm going to take more risks because I can afford to take the losses. Your level of self esteem works the same way. The more self esteem you have, the more risks you're willing to take. Aren't we all in the beginning, at least, or as we try to level up, afraid of stepping out of our comfort zone and taking that risk, right? Especially when you know, and that, yeah, I guess that comes from, you know, lack of self esteem, right? And that's the only way I was able to make it in real estate investing. Yes, I had some grit, I had some hustle, and I did want to bet on myself. I did believe I can make it happen, you know. But when you come into a world of real estate investing, when you think everyone's a millionaire and everyone's successful and rich and they don't have time, these are all self-limiting beliefs that I've told myself, and I hear members here at AZREIA when they're new say all the time. It's just not true. So the people in our rooms here at AZREIA, they want to help you. They want to share information. They want to share resources. They want to give you a few pieces of advice that, you know, you can learn from their mistakes on. So I had to put myself in the room. I became a member 12 years ago, and I had to get in the networking groups and have that success rub off on me, or see how successful think and act, and do things. I actually got a coach mentor, became a business partner when I first started. Um, I did 30 transactions in my first year in the business. I wholesaled 30 deals. So from not knowing anything about real estate investing to within a year closing 30 transactions, that's just like a rapid learning curve. But I did it because I put myself around someone that was already doing it. So that built my confidence. I was confident to put myself out there, but hey, I ain't gonna lie. When I was at some networking meetings, I was timid. I was shy. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to build relationships, so to speak, when I didn't feel like I had anything to offer because I knew nothing. So, by getting around the people in the meetings and getting that coach, mentor, partner kind of situation, I learned how to talk in those meetings. I learned how to do deals. So, being with the right people will build that self esteem. And that was, you know, those were little wins I was acknowledging, right? Wow, I can do this. I remember reading Think and Grow Rich years and years ago. Um, and I was in the music business. And I remember one day I was like, I'm getting everything I want, right? Like everything's working out the way I want because I've read the principles also in that book, Think and Grow Rich, and this success principles. Man, it'll change your life. Even though I read success principles and I did very well, I got back in the rut, so to speak, going back with the same people, doing the same things, and I didn't cash in on the momentum that I had going on in my life because I read Think and Grow Rich. And then I got back in the cycle of same old. And then as life changes and you grow, I got found this book and I kind of got back into it, right? So those two books would be great. So knowing that you had success in the past will give you the self confidence that you can have more successes in the future. So let's look at some simple, powerful ways to build and maintain your high level confidence. Um, let's see. A simple way is to begin an inventory of your major successes. Consider also doing this exercise with a spouse or family member. Start by dividing your life into three equal time periods. For example, if you're 45 years old, your three time periods would be birth to 15, 16 to 30, 31 to 45. Then list three successes you've had for each time period to help you get started. So, for example, he has some examples here. Birth from birth to 15, uh, elected patrol leader in the Boy Scouts, caught winning touchdown pass at a state championship or city championship, admitted uh, to a college. Second half, earned master's degree, published first book, founded an organization. You know, 40 to 60, created a seminar company, wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul, achieved a goal for speaking in 50 different states, right? So, um, can you list 100 successes to really convince yourself that you're a successful person who can continue to achieve great things? Complete the next step and list 100 of your life successes. All right, so that's really where he's getting at. So just um, can you sit down and just write everything? um, that you can. I'm getting all these messages from that event. One second. Cool. Perfect. Sorry about that. So let's let's write these successes down. Let's acknowledge our wins. Let's write these successes down. Get used to doing it. Get used to reading them. Get used to celebrating your wins and building that self esteem and building that confidence. So, like I said, he dives deep. He has like stories and all these little action items you can do. I could be here for, it's multiple pages, but you get the idea, right? So build that self esteem. You got to build that momentum so you can get traction in your business. It's just like riding a bike. You're nervous at first, but once you start doing it, it just picks up, and you're like, why was I ever even nervous about that? So um, another reason to celebrate your success is that you don't feel complete until you've been acknowledged. It gives you the sense of accomplishment and recognition. If you spend weeks producing a report and your boss doesn't acknowledge it, you feel incomplete. If you send someone a gift and get no acknowledgement, there's a little incomplete taking up attention units inside of you. Your mind needs to complete the cycle. Even more important than completing the simple, enjoyable act of acknowledging and rewarding our successes causes our subconscious mind to say, hey, succeeding is good. Every time we produce a success, we get to do something fun. Jack will buy us something we want and take us somewhere neat. Let's have more successes so Jack will take us out to play. It's all a game. Rewarding yourself for these wins powerfully reinforces your subconscious mind's desire to want to work harder for you. It's just basic human nature. So, go out and get it. Go and take some action. Go join a networking group. Go read a book. Go write an offer to a homeowner. Go ask someone to raise money to get in on a deal. Whatever it may be, go do something and acknowledge it and be proud of yourself for doing that. If you like this type of little encouragement and thoughts to think about, like I said, there's 64 principles. I'm reviewing all of them. This is episode 25. So go back to episode 1. Like I said, they're very easy. Breeze through them, comment, ask a question, subscribe to the AZREIA channel, and let me know what you think. All of them build on top of each other. So you got to start at 1, then go to 2, one at a time. Go at your own pace. They ain't going anywhere. And check it out. So this is From Properties to Success Principles. Appreciate your time. In the description, we have some free ebooks on real estate investing for you to check out. Please do so. Also, check out AZREIA.org if you have any interest in investing in real estate. Check us out. We are based in Arizona, so specifically if you want to invest in Arizona, even better. But real estate investing is a general. There are different rules and regulations, in different states, but the basics are the basics. Check us out, or check out our YouTube channel. Check out our website. See what you think. If you're in Arizona, come by one of our events. We'd love to have you, meet you personally. Come say hello. Otherwise, that's a wrap for episode 25. See you tomorrow.